Hey, there's going to be some interesting things going on tonight during this episode. It's going to be raining AI, right? That's the whole. Everyone is just talking about AI, AI this, AI that. I mean, it's kind of weird how we gone from almost nothing since a couple years ago to what we have now is just like a deluge, a monsoon of AI, of just making its way into everything that we do, really. So, strap in, folks. Let's go ahead, get right into the meat and potatoes of the independent podcast, independent creator podcast. I know it's been a while, but let's actually get started. Um, some of the stuff that we've been talking about or looking at is AI has been just invading every aspect, almost every aspect of our lives as regular people or as content creators or any kind of creating aspect. It just becomes really a big part of what we do nowadays is AI. And many people are looking at AI as like this the boogeyman. I know a lot of aspects, especially in the art community and other kind of creation. It is a an a invader of sorts, really, where like things like Sora or Midjourney when it first started out, and now we got like Gemini, we got DeepSeek is a new one that just came out. It's AI has just glommed on everything, and many of us have really gone full circle into embracing AI to replace what we do as a creative endeavor. And I think that could lead to some things that are not conducive to how we used to be creative and creating content and doing our normal day-to-day hobbies and jobs. One of the things I like to say is that with the art field, there are some aspects that I know I'm probably get some flack on it, but there are some things that might. I'm. This is very like very very tiny amount that might actually help, but then again, that very tiny amount is completely overshadowed by AI art taking over everything. Let's just take a look at the recent Coca-Cola holiday ad a couple months ago, back in the holiday season, where normally we'll see the Clydesdales pulling. Oh, no, that's Anheuser-Busch, but Santa and the polar bears, uh, and the trucks and everything coming through, and it's just kind of like, you know, let's do this in AI. We don't want to pay people to make this stuff. No, no, no. We don't want to do that. So let's all do it in AI. And it was really, really bad. I mean, seriously bad. Of course, AI cannot, it has a hard problem with text and words. And you can definitely tell on some of the shots with like the Coca-Cola logo on the truck. It was completely messed up. You see Coca, but the hyphen and cola was all like just squished and just didn't look correct. So yeah, and that brought a lot of outrage from people, which they were perfectly within their right to say, why would you do this? You used to pay people, uh, artists and videographers and character designers and visual effects and whatnot to create your advertisements. It's just that Coca-Cola decided, oh, we'll go cheap. We'll pay AI to do it. How bad can it be, right? And it was pretty bad. I mean, you had like six-fingered people and all sorts of stuff like that, misspelled words, and it brought up a backlash, really, where in their right, Coca-Cola deserved it. And oh, there was the show on Disney Plus, the Secret War. It was an MCU, but again, that was also a backlash with the opening intro to the show was done in AI, and people were furious. It's like this is you can have someone do something like this or better. It's just I'm sorry you decided to be cheap and go this route. It's like yeah, you can't use AI for everything. Certain aspects and certain job scenarios, yes, it can be used as a tool, but we'll get into that in a little bit here. So yeah, AI is pretty much just inundating everything that we're seeing here. So one of the things is that I like to bring up here is that people have been putting in what's called like poison pills or anything along that line to kind of make their content poisoned, so the AI would not be able to scrape it and use their content in its learning process. And it's been ongoing for year or two of different ways of how to go about this. So like in this Ars Technica article that I have on screen here is that how one YouTuber is trying to poison the AI bot stealing her content. So specializing garbage-filled captions are invisible to humans, but is confounding to AI. Now, normally this will work, no problem. Unfortunately, as we go through the bottom here, there was some issues where that AI is getting smart enough to see if the content is poison pilled, and it can bypass it and scrape it as normal, which is interesting, but also we're beginning to go into an arms race, really. If you think about it, it's very similar to how the U.S. and Russia back in the 50s and 60s with the space race. It was, we'll get one thing, with Russia launching Sputnik. Okay, that kicked America's butt to do something that's better. As is back and forth. But eventually, it's like something with AI is that we're going to be spending more time and effort into creating poison pills and trying to get the avenues of AI scraping content so far that, you're spending more time in creating these poison pills than you're actually creating your art or your content. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's something that we all have to realize what's important is how far we can go with this. Is it going to be easier to create something that totally screws up AI's content scraping to the point where it's like, okay, it's good for next month, but the month after, we're back to square one again. And it's kind of, okay, well, let's try this again. And it's just, it's an arms race, really, with AI and content scraping. And, it's something that we have to look forward to, not even years down the line. I'm not talking like 5-10 years. We're talking like maybe a year to 3, where AI has gotten so good at detecting poison pill content when it's going through its learning process that it can easily identify, work out what has been poisoned, reconfigure it, and then see its actual form and then learn from that. So it's kind of, again, like I said, it's an arms race. And one thing as a content creator that I have seen many times is that a YouTuber, like I have another Ars Technica article here is we've seen this plenty of times. That's happened. Is that Zero Warnings longtime YouTuber rails against unexplained channel removal. As a founder of a small but mighty music software brand called Sins Vibes, spent more than 15 years building a YouTube channel with all original content to promote his business products. Over all those years, he never had any issues with YouTube's automated content removal system until like today, pretty much, when YouTube, without issuing a single warning, abruptly deleted his entire channel. And we've seen this constantly, that people post up, hey, YouTube has demonetized my video, or my channel has been completely killed or nuked. And good luck trying to get any kind of response from YouTube, because, you know, unless you are these big YouTube giants like Mr. Beast or MKHB Marquez, you're not really going to get any kind of traction from YouTube support, because yours is going to be hitting an automated brick wall. You're not really going to get any kind of human interaction. And this is a part where AI has taken over the moderation side of things as well. Is that, yes, YouTube has made some inroads and made things better, especially years ago. Viacom, we almost pretty much could have lost YouTube, is when Viacom sued YouTube for copyright infringement or with IP, stuff like that. And at the time, this was probably like 8 years ago, or longer than that now, is that YouTube spent billions of dollars in years to create their content ID system. Yes, it's not perfect by far, but it is something, excuse me, that is perfectly capable of finding a copyrighted material that's within a video and flagging it and saying, hey, this is not, you don't have permission to play this. So in that effect, AI is in that aspect a good thing. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's better than nothing, and then having no service to begin with, no video hosting service whatsoever. And I know some people will complain is that, oh, it's pulling false positives. Like, yes, again, it's not perfect, but it's better. And you could have not had YouTube at the, what was it, let's say 2010. I forget exactly when it was, but it would have created a deficit at the time on the early internet. And it's something that we can think of, and trying to get past this issue with my throat is just compounding it, where I should rely on AI to make my own fake voice. And I've seen a lot of channels, or a lot of videos or channels on YouTube that is this AI slop, that, oh, the thumbnail is great, but when you start clicking into it, it's AI voice, and instantly you can tell it's an AI voice, that someone has this, went through Chippity and created a script and then put that through something to create a 11 Labs to have to read the script in the voice, and it's not good. There have been some times where it's like, oh, is this AI or is it not? But going back to how things are in YouTube, I know people have their issues with YouTube. I do too. But the thing is that it's a major player in how things are working out. And if we did not have YouTube, we would not have Peertube or anything like that at our current time. I'm not saying that it would never happen, but it would have taken a lot longer because, well, no, I take that back, because it could have been something. YouTube did prove to the world that a large video hosting platform could work. It's just that it had taken time for places like Peertube to come into fruition, to go through the peer-to-peer side of things. Is how they work. And Would it have been on the scene sooner? It's kind of hard to tell. I'm not sure about that. And it's something that, I mean, we can definitely take it to the comments. If you think that Peertube could have been, here on the scene sooner if YouTube had gone down with Viacom's lawsuit. So let me know in the comments. But other than that, AI, it also affects the artist world. I've touched on that at the beginning, where the art community, especially on, was it Instagram, they saw that Meta was going to be using all of their art, or pretty much anybody's post on Instagram was going to be used in machine learning for Meta's Llama AI, or whatever they have it called. So a person or a group of people decided to open up a news site called Cara. So Cara is a social media and portfolio sharing platform for artists and art enthusiasts. And the important part is that they have built in aspects to detect AI art, and they don't allow it on it. Like it says here, many platforms currently accept AI art when these models are not ethically built, while others sometimes promise no AI forever without considering the scenarios where adoption of such technologies may happen at the workplace in the coming years. So they have a stance on their AIs. They do not agree with generative AI tools in their current unethical form. And we won't host AI-generated portfolios unless the rampant ethical and data privacy issues around datasets are resolved via regulation. In the event that legislation is passed to clearly protect artists, we believe that AI-generated content should always be clearly labeled, because the public should always be able to search for human-made art and media easily. Which is a great thing to see that, I'm not going to go to their main page, because sometimes it might be a little spicy content showing on the main page, and yeah, we're not going to have that here. We don't do that here. It's not. We try to keep it family friendly as much as possible. But anyways, it's great to see that a platform, a growing platform, as they had when they first started, I believe at the beginning of 2023. I know somebody will probably correct me on that, and that's what I'm looking for, is that they had a rough go, really. It was such high demand that their servers would be just like lit ablaze, that they were having their site crashes. It was just not working too well. And eventually it looks like they have gotten past that point where, everything has leveled out to the point where it's just perfectly fine now. And they have a growing community of artists and art, like I said, artists and art enthusiasts, to go to a place that is not under the Meta umbrella. And one of the things that I've seen, especially with Meta, with like through Facebook, Threads, Instagram, and one of those is that they use your account's post as, machine learning for their AI systems. Is that it's not the fact that the content that they're using is public, which it is, but it's also on their service, which is perfectly fine for them to do, because you're using their service for free. So in effect, you are the product. So you can't say, you can't do this. They can. You're using their service. If you don't want your stuff on their service, stop using it. It's simple as fact, really. And a lot of people are going to go through this denial. It's kind of, I just posted up on our website, or our main site, about, trying to migrate people away into using the Fediverse products. It's going to take, you have to be patient. It's going to take a long time, especially for the normal people like your mom, your dad, your parents, brother, sister, your aunts, uncles, anybody in your family. It's going to take time. You're going to have to be patient with them, walk them through. It's going to be a slow process. And don't freak out about anything that they say, oh, my friends aren't here yet. Well, no, not yet, but you can find other people and we'll go and try and get them onto the service as well. Trying to move away from Facebook and places like that. And a lot of places are using machine learning from the content that you provide for free to these major platforms. And ChatGPT had been using pretty much almost everything that's on the web as their learning, but they kind of got not Sherlocked, because that's an Apple term for taking an app and putting it into the core. But when this Chinese company, DeepSeek, came out with their big, machine learning platform, they use ChatGPT information. It's like, how dare you steal the content that we stole from everybody else? And everybody's freaking out. And it's kind of like, well, you stole the content, so technically it's not yours. So you can't be mad. And of course, everybody, yes, it is the whole thing that, the Chinese are just taking our stuff. And they've been doing, I think it is also in this article here. No, Verge. Stupid paywall. I can't even. But anyways, I was going to have it up here, see if I can. But yeah. That's not working. Yeah, it's The Verge has put a subscription model on their stuff. But anyways, so what it was is that DeepSeek had used a lot of information, the language models that ChatGPT was using or OpenAI was using to create their ChatGPT. And they have also used GPUs that they've gotten from other resources, and they spent billions of dollars creating DeepSeek. And what happened is that when it became public that a week ago, on that Monday, everything like dropped in the stock market. What was it? Like 600? No, it was like, it was an insane number, $600 billion market cap from OpenAI, all the other ones like Meta. Pretty much when you looked at the stock market, everything was in red and falling fast. Now, not to say that it stayed that way. It was quickly bounced back like within a day or two. But the problem is that DeepSeek proved that you can have a ChatGPT-like service for not even a fraction of the cost that ChatGPT was charging, and saying that's what we were charging because it's very expensive and all this energy and stuff like that. DeepSeek said, yeah, hold my beer. We're going to do it for a lot less. And everyone freaked out. And it was wild to see that this Chinese AI companies has come in and upend the tech pros of the US and just like, yeah, we can do it better, cheaper, and faster. And now I'm saying that as a good thing, because we move into the cons, into the bad thing is that it's a Chinese AI company. And of course, everything going into a Chinese company or by a Chinese company is part of the Chinese government. And then you have all your ramifications on top of that. And then the data sucking of these services. It's just kind of like, you don't want your information out there. The US is just as bad or probably worse than the Chinese government. Yeah, but yeah, it's like Fox. Yeah, as his org filed an expedited change to ban traffic to the Chinese. Yeah, and a lot of people are again freaking out. Are putting in legislation of saying trying to block. I have my own qualms about that as well. It's just like, well, it's okay if we do the domestic spying, but we don't want the Chinese to see it because they're coming into our turf, and we don't want that, right? I mean, yes, going of the Chinese market with the tied into the government there is a lot of stuff that we don't want to be pushed through into their servers. It's bad enough that we have domestic spying is just as bad, or if not worse, than a foreign one. So, without going in any too political down paths down that way, we'll move on to how AI is actually earned a Grammy. That's right. I don't know if you guys are into like the award seasons or anything like that, but I'm not gonna scroll down because I'll probably get that paywall block. But AI had people. I forget. The Beatles had a song AI restored, and it actually won a Grammy. So it's kind of like we're pretty much just like, hey, AI is working on everything. It can even win music awards. Now, what's next? An Oscar or a Tony, a Golden Globe for AI wins? It's just one of those things where it's just like, how far are we going to go? I mean, there are, if you didn't, I shared out the show Ozone started up, Fireside Fetty, where he talked to, for the first episode, Gabe Kangas, the creator of Owncast, pretty much. And he mentioned that there is a Owncast channel that is like 24/7 live stream of an AI generated music channel that just goes through. And I haven't found it yet, or haven't listened to it yet. So it's kind of interesting to see that. Yes, it's not a serious thing. It's just one of those things where it's kind of like, let's just it's for the camp, it's for the goof. But it's just interesting that you can create music with AI. Is it going to be good? 9 times out of 10, no. But is it possible? Yeah. And it's also interesting to see that people can do this for a laugh, because again, you're not going to say, oh, any kind of AI generation is bad. Any kind of tools, a hammer can be used for bad intentions, but you can build a house with it. You can build a couch or a coffee table or a kitchen table. But does the tool itself become a bad thing if used in a bad way? No. It's just in how you look at things, that how the tools are used. In the case for that Owncast channel, it's for the laughs. It's like, hey, we understand that what we're doing is completely stupid and it probably doesn't make sense. It's probably funny, but it's just a tool. AI as a tool being used in that way is a good thing. Now, I know some people are probably going to say, well, that's not good. Any kind of use of AI is not good, and just get rid of AI completely. I say, hold on, hold your horses. It's not completely bad. Again, what I do, I use a little bit of AI for creating my written articles and cleaning stuff up. Because what I do is I write the first draft, have it go through the AI generation of like grammar, and, tonality, and stuff like that to kind of like tighten it up a little bit. And then what I do is I go back over it to make sure that it's me. Now, is my use of that AI bad? In some people's mind, yes, I am a horrible person for using AI in that way. But for me, because I have very limited time between a 9 to 5 and doing this content creation and trying to get everything all started up here, I have very limited time. I can spend hours creating a blog post, doing the editing and stuff like that, and then have one out once every week, or maybe once every 2 weeks. Would that be a good part or good use of my time? I'm still creating the content first. I'm still editing. Wow. Editing. I was just going to go with it. The content 2-3 times just to make sure that what I created is part of what the final product is. Now, I don't use AI for creating this content, the videos or anything like that. No, I go through, editing. I go through, especially for like this particular episode, what I'm going to do is cut off the first part, the pre-show stuff, tightening up the silent parts where I need to get a drink of water, and run it through Whisper AI to get the transcript going, the subtitles, because I could pay a company to do that, but it's very expensive and time consuming to go through. So I go through and use a tool that is created. Fox, quiet you. Go through and use a tool to cut my workflow time down to much more manageable process. And I can still go through and make sure that the transcript is going to be as fine as it can be. I'm not going to really, I give it like 1 or 2 passes, because I know if I spend any more time on it, it's a transcript. It's, it is what it is. But also the subtitles are going to be created as well. So I'm not going to, basically, if I go through this hour-long video and do the transcripts and then go back through and do the subtitling, that, if I did it all myself, that takes hours or days to go through, especially if I don't have that much time. I work, like I said, 9 to 5. I'm focused on the work, but it's kind of like I don't have the time. So I use a tool to make my process much quicker, more efficient, but I still have my personal touch as part of the final product. So in that case, AI is perfectly fine used as a tool. It's not replacing my work. It's just tightening it up. It's just, it's just like having an editor go through your work. And the thing is, it's perfectly fine if you use it in that way. If for art side of things, I can see where you're creating art as you're an artist, and you create like your own thumbnails, or you create your own works of art, and using AI, that could be but it could be perceived as something that is, you're kind of cheating yourself. Where I create all the thumbnails myself. I do all these great works of art myself. I'm not the best, but I'm trying. And if you looked at the older videos, those thumbnails, oof, wow. But I like to do the thumbnails myself. Sure, I can pay somebody. I mean, all this stuff I can do, I can pay somebody, but I'm going to be flat broke. I'll be paying them for maybe 1 or 2 months, and that's it. And I'm broke. So it's just, you have to kind of, figure it out where, I'm not going to say where your morals lie, but you kind of have to look at where your workflow could be made better by using certain things. So that in of itself is where my personal viewpoints for AI is it lands on that. For art, yeah, you can probably play around with it and just create some goofy stuff, and it's cool in that way. It's like, yeah, going mid journey and say, yeah, create a scene of a polar bear skating down a grassy field or a grassy mountain wearing a tutu and playing a ukulele, and just have some fun with that. And it's stupid art, but it's just something that you can play around with. And you're like, yeah, that was cool. I'm bored. And you just not worry about it, not use it anymore, because it is what it is. It has, to get back to the art thing, it does have that kind of, it's not that, it has a soulless kind of feel to it. It doesn't say, hey, look at what I'm doing. And it doesn't really have like the human touch. A lot of the art, let's just say that AI in the art field is getting better, but it still has that feeling of just like the fakiness of it, because you can tell. And I know some people are probably saying, well, or probably have been told that, oh, your art is AI, which in fact it is not. And I know Corey Artist, he does a lot of digital art for him, and he's really good. And he does what he live streams it in order to not just prove what the works of art that he does is something that he has himself created, but it's also to get more people accustomed to seeing the art being made. It's a slow process. Sometimes he doesn't finish a piece of work within like 3 hours or less, and it takes like a couple streams to finish up. But the thing is that you can see the process being made. You can see the sausage being made. So with AI, it's all done in a back room behind a screen. Don't ignore the AI behind the screen kind of deal. And then it's like, here you go, I got your thingy. But in art, it's taking away a lot of the creativeness of an artist's work. And a lot of people are just solely relying on AI art. And it sucks to see that so many people are, gravitating to this quick, dirty, cheap made, basically TikTokified content that, a actual person making art is getting left by the wayside. And I kind of like to say, what if like Leonardo da Vinci or Picasso and the rest, his famous artists and these famous painters, if they were creating, if they were alive today, creating their artwork today, how bad of a reception would they be receiving from the general public? Is saying, oh, I can create something like that in like less than 20 minutes. Why should I pay you thousands of dollars to create commission a piece of art for me? No, I'll just get my $20 a month, go to Midjourney or Sora or whatever, Gemini, and then create the content, and then I can pass it off. It's like, I made this. piece of junk. But again, I'm not saying that all AI is bad. That's not what I want to have people take away from this episode in saying that all AI is bad. Certain elements of an AI, especially in the written form, is just for editing or constructing of different ways of ideal structure, and then having a human interaction of going through that process and to make sure what has been created from a human piece of work is still viewable as a human piece of work, but with a little bit of tightening here and there. Art, there's not that much give and take. It's kind of black and white per se, where art going in, art coming out, and what you get is not human made. So I want to say with if you take away from this episode is to look at AI as something to be not to be feared. Don't treat it as a boogeyman. Give it a good look over and say, okay, what is this going to be doing? How does this work? How does it work against my work? And what is it changing? And some things like DeepSeek, yeah, it's changing the complete nature of the infrastructure of how the AI, OpenAI, and all the rest of them are fundamentally working with their infrastructure. And why is it so expensive? And why are we burning half the planet to create crappy art? But it's AI is not going anywhere. We had that genie has been bottle has been opened. Pandora's box has been opened. You're not putting that away now. It's something that we have to learn to deal with. Yes, it sucks, but we have to figure out a way to contain the damage as much as possible, and a lot of avenues. So take it for what you will. Whatever your AI viewpoints are, would definitely love to hear about them. If you completely disagreed with everything I said tonight or in this episode, do be sure to post them in the comments down below. If you agreed, same thing. If you can care less, put a poop emoji down there too. I don't care. It's engagement. I'm working the AI YouTube or the YouTube AI to get engagement going through. And if you haven't already, would definitely love to see you over on twotonewaffle.com and join the community. We have our forums. Love to see you there where we talk about all this sort of stuff. We talk about indie games. We talk about AI. We talk about content creation, alternative platforms, and a little bit of everything else. We might even talk about the price of eggs. But who knows? That might get into a different avenue. But anyways, thanks for coming out tonight. And do be sure to hit the subscribe. And I'll see you next time here on the Independent Creator Podcast. Enjoy your night.